Hopping hand for
Be careful.
Esposito and Scott Higgins, both of them coked up out of their minds.
Listen to you. He's down in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I think we should call this the Acement.
The Acement, yes.
Yeah, what do you think there, huh?
I like that. The Acement Studios.
Excuse me, I'm drinking beer. Hold on a second.
We usually drink bourbon on our end.
Yeah,
when we
right.
do the podcast, so
That's all right.
feel free to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You shoot an 8-ball if you want. We don't care. As long as it's good stories.
And welcome to the Acement. It's time to go behind the funny. I am Ace Aceto, and this is
Mike
not
Murray.
this is not Scott Higgins. Welcome to the shit show that is Wednesday night. Whatever could go wrong this week went wrong. So let's start it off.
And I'm like
And you're
cherry on top.
You're the only good thing about this week, buddy. You're the only good thing. No, so here's the deal. If you're watching live, please feel free to comment. We are really looking for interactive comments tonight. You can comment either through StreamYard, through the Behind the Funny page, or through my page. So let's talk about what's going on. So
Can they send money?
they can send money at the so if you're watching us on Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling, which is the channel on Twitch, twitch.tv, Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling is the channel. There is a way to give on there.
So it's like
So
only
feel
fans.
free. Yeah, it's like OnlyFans, but I ain't taking my clothes off, and neither are you, buddy.
Well, no, see, if
listen,
I get money generated from this, so how do I know if
It goes into Scott's account. You won't know.
I would never know?
But but trust me, if you take your clothes off, we ain't making money.
Oh, we're
okay,
making
we
money.
want to keep people
We're
watching.
making money.
Please. So here's what's going on. So my co-host Scott down for the count.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Diabetes?
Last week, the diabetes. You should talk.
Pussy.
Scotty boy finally got the cove. He finally got it, and so not only did he
He's
get
in
it
danger because he's obese. He's got an underlying
again,
condition.
buddy. Look up at the screen and look at yourself.
It's not as
you have no reason to talk. Okay. So Scott is down for the count with COVID. And then what happened was we had a guest booked for tonight. Very funny comic from Long Island named Chris Roach.
you
Have
guys
you ever
really
worked with him?
struck out with me then.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, you saved me tonight,
Okay.
because otherwise it would have been me blithering into this thing with no one, just me,
Yeah.
talking to the one person that has actually posted a comment for us. But yeah, so Scott's down for the count, and then Chris Roach was supposed to be on. Very, very funny comic. I watched some of his stuff on YouTube. We are going to get him back in May, but he ended up having a last minute gig that came up. One of the reasons why we do this show on a Wednesday night is so that we can talk to comics, because chances are we're not working Wednesday nights.
He must
most
be a good
times
comic if he's getting gigs.
he did. It was a last minute gig.
Well, it was
so-
a great excuse.
it was a great excuse. Yeah. So as a result, we got our buddy Mike Murray. Look at him. We got the Sublimation King on. And you know what? It was funny because even though we were talking about, having you on, and you've been on, on the infamous Mike and Brad episodes, the infamous Brad Meltdown episode from the beginning of COVID, the one where we had you guys come in last time and I cooked for you.
Oh, that was
Do you
awesome.
remember that?
Yes, it was like we had like a death match, cooking match.
Yeah,
Because
between us
the
and
cooking show took off.
yeah,
And big markets, Dave's Market, very, very popular market.
exactly.
Reached out to you. Why? I don't know. But you were cooking on that now.
Yeah.
And upstairs, I'm pointing out like what I thought was an onion, but it was a shallot. And it's a learning experience here. And so
Exactly.
it turned into something really cool with and it's just a testament of how we evolved or adapted to the adversity of the pandemic.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who would have thought that me just goofing around in my
If
kitchen
you told
would
me
have tucked
2
into
years
a
ago,
cook-
it was
Yeah, I'm gonna be a
happen.
chef
Yeah.
on Facebook Live.
I would have
Going,
been calling people behind back. You're not gonna believe what Ace just told me. He's gonna start
idiot is
cooking on
delusional.
Facebook.
yeah, right. Who would have thought, right? I know. And so but when I was talking to you earlier today, I hadn't realized that we literally haven't had just you on the show
Since the woman behind them.
well, but did we had you on just you right before that,
very
right?
beginning.
First season,
Very
like one of the
beginning.
first episodes. And then we had you and your wife, Kathy, on for the woman behind the man behind the funny, whatever it was. All I know was the infamous line of Captain Fatneck came out of that
Yes,
episode.
yes,
We
she
all love
loves
that.
calling me that.
She does love calling you
Yes,
that, and
she-
we do
but,
too.
and, I called her up today on the way home because I bought her a ring for 25th anniversary, a nice, beautiful ring, and she gets a ton of compliments for it. Spent a lot of money on it and everything, right? So the ring is beautiful.
Yeah.
And Kathy likes to design her jewelry and everything like that. And so she designed another band to make this ring even
To go like around it, and
it looks like Robert Kraft gave it to her, right? Now.
It's like a Super Bowl ring.
It's giant. It's giant, right? So, and she got it, and you probably heard of the Kodos. They've been around forever in the North Providence area.
Yep.
And Kathy designed every piece of jewelry she has on. She's
designed
walked
it
in with a picture and said, draws it, and they
Wow.
make it, and it's absolutely phenomenal. So she made a design of a band that goes around
around the ring that
currently
you have.
has, and she picked it up today.
Yep.
And so she was telling me, what the balance was, what she paid, and all.
Yeah.
That. She said, "Oh, I'm gonna put the money back," and then I'm like, Kat, I don't care. I don't
right.
care. But then I called her back, and I'm like, how are you going to put it back? What, you got a side job?
She's got a side hustle
using our money to buy it.
Yeah.
To pay for it. But you're going to pay it back. How? I don't understand.
Right.
And she was getting mad at me. And I was trying to change that. I was in too deep. I was trying to change the subject and everything. But I was like, it just goes to show, like Christmas time.
Yeah.
Christmas time, I buy her, she gets me all my gifts from our money. From our money.
Look what I bought you. By the way, there's $1,500 left in the bank.
Up with like $7,000 worth of gifts for her.
Yeah.
Out of the blue.
And that doesn't come out of the general fund.
It
Yours is
never
out of
comes
yours.
out of the
Yeah,
general
right.
fund. Dude.
That's funny.
So it's so funny on the way in. How do I even talk about that subject?
Because I said the last time we had
we
you
were talking
on,
about
it
my
was
wife,
with
yeah.
Kathy.
So that was a conversation we had with my
Yeah.
wife, and so it's funny. It's funny. We have a lot of good, a lot of laughs. My wife is legit the funniest person I know.
Yeah. Funnier than you, definitely.
She's way funnier than me, and she did something the other day was hysterical.
Yeah.
And so my bedroom is a master bedroom, right? It's two rooms.
Right.
So
You took out a
it's
wall
like
in
13
between.
by 28. It's a giant room. So
Yeah.
one part of it is like the bedroom area, and then another part's like a small living room, and everything. So basically, we go there. I come home.
Yeah.
I watch
It's like your own
go there, sit
apartment,
down,
yeah.
and then I jump in bed.
Yeah.
But I like to go to bed early. I'm in bed 9:00, 9:15, right?
Oh, so we got to get you out of
We
here.
better get going. Let's get this. And she likes to sit and watch TV till like 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, and then she gets in bed and she plays on her
the
TikTok
phone.
and all that. Yeah. So it's like and so I go to bed, and we're married 31 years, and so I'll say, hey, look, sometimes I'll go to bed and I'll expect something. You know what I'm saying? What I'll say, is this a kid show?
Yeah. No,
Anyways.
no, but I think I have a feeling we're getting into too much information, but that's all right.
No,
Keep
it's not
going.
Too much information.
I'm just checking the comments. We'll go to the comments after you're
Yeah.
done with this story.
So it was funny the other day. I said, all right, so look, we got to come up with a plan. All right. If I say,
What do you want to sign? If there's a shoe on the store,
just laying there waiting for like 2 hours.
wondering,
Exactly. All right.
are you
Waiting and
coming to
hoping.
bed or
Waiting and hoping.
are we
waiting
making
and
our
hoping.
own film or are you making a TikTok?
Exactly. So I said, hey, look, here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
If I say, Kathy, I'm going to bed, that means
Okay.
And I said, and if I say I'm going to sleep,
It's different. I'm going to sleep. Right.
right?
Yeah.
we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Right? I said, so let's practice. I said,
Let's practice.
I said, let's
You made her
practice.
fucking practice.
I said, let's practice. I said, you ready? She said, yeah, I'm ready.
Kathy, if you're watching, please comment
No,
and
I
tell me
said,
this is
I'm
true.
going to sleep. And
Yep.
she went, yes, yes, yes. Like the wrestler on, like the emoji wrestler.
Yeah. Oh,
When, you know what I mean?
yeah.
I said, I went, whoa,
Whoa. That was a little too
Hey.
realistic.
slow your roll. I was dying. I was dying. What I'm trying to say is, nobody makes me laugh
So-
harder than this lady.
Did you even get to say, "Hey, I'm going to bed"? No, it just ended at "I'm going to sleep" and
All right,
the
let's
wrestler.
Let's practice. I'm going to sleep. Literally. Like her fists went through the ceiling and they came out.
Jesus. Oh my God, Kathy, if you're watching, please comment.
Okay.
So we've got a couple of comments. Karen Bissett, the Oreo, says, Mike Murray, I love you, my friend. So awesome to
I
see
love
two
her.
of my favorites in one
She is
place.
awesome.
Thank you, Karen. Nikki Albanese, I smell fundraiser for Mike. Jen,
He's not lying.
Jen B, how you doing? Hi guys, that's one of our. We haven't seen Jen in a long time. Thanks for
Wow.
watching, Jen.
She knew
All
I
it took
on
was
the show.
no.
Thank
All it
you,
took,
Jen, for
all it took
coming
was
out.
Scott taking a night off, and all of a sudden the comments are blowing
board
up.
is lighting
We
up.
haven't had comments in a while. Then I'm looking over at hold on, I'm looking at on Facebook, some of the comments coming in. Josh, my buddy Josh Barrett, haha, the best co-host ever. Annie Mulhall from LDI Casting.
Yeah.
our friend from
hello.
Annie,
If she's
she says,
hey,
hi guys.
Call me. Come on. If you
Yeah.
got any fat pots,
Or some
mammals.
semi-fat parts. I'm
I
looking.
do tricks.
he
I
balances
can balance a ball.
yeah, on his nose like a seal. He'll do whatever you need. Let's see. Diane Grinnell Hewitt, you're the best. Ace and Mike, she loves us. Josh, see, bring big names on and the ratings go up. Kayla, are you trying to?
Oh my God.
Are you? Never mind. Someone just, a friend of mine just said, Ace, I'm going to bed.
Yes!
Yeah, too bad she lives in Florida.
Oh, get me.
No,
hey, give me
she's
your
not
points.
going to
How many
sleep.
points you got on your car?
Yeah, not enough for you, buddy. I'm taking the trip down
Did
before
I
you.
tell you?
What?
I went to North Carolina with my brother. And,
Yeah. Oh
to visit
yeah,
my
with
uncle.
Jack, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we had a blast.
Yep.
We had a blast. And true story, we're getting ready to board one of the planes, and there wasn't many people on this plane. It was
Yep.
half full.
Yep.
And so they made an announcement in the airport. They said, since there's a low amount of people going
Yeah.
on the board, we have to make sure we distribute the weight evenly.
They took
Dude,
one look at you.
Everybody looking at me. when I say eyeballs were on me walking down the aisle of the airlines, I was dying. And
They were like, sir, please sit at the back of the plane.
they're just standing
Sit in the middle. Yeah. And do this.
Do
Yeah,
the-
right.
What's the guy's name?
The flying Walenders. Yeah. Yeah. Like you're on a
Oh.
tightrope.
It was amazing. Like that was it. I felt like every eye was on me. And then just trying to get, I know you're probably out there saying, hey, Mike, really seriously, you got to get yourself in check. I understand. But buckling up on the airlines,
Yep.
it was,
Do you need an extender?
no, but
But you're
I was
close.
close. And I felt like the kid who couldn't get on Six Flags
Oh,
ride.
shit.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing. I was like,
Yeah.
then
So you haven't started eating salads again yet, I noticed.
Yeah, I know. I
No.
got every day I got a plan.
Yeah.
Every day I have a plan.
And
Every
it
day I
starts
wake
the
up
next day,
with
right?
a plan,
Yeah.
right? So I wake up in the morning and say, today's the day. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it today, right? And by 10:30, I'm turning the trick behind a dumpster for a ham sandwich. Right? It's like it's
You're
just
having
shot out the window.
you're eating a half a dozen bagels.
See, a lot of people a lot of people they have issues with like drugs and
Yeah,
alcohol.
yeah,
I got
yours
an
is
issue with
food.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I know. And Popeye's fried chicken. Listen, we've talked about it on the show before. We can tell when you're off your diet because you go from posting 500 salad pics with the caption "yo," and then all of a sudden it goes silence on
radio
Facebook.
silence.
Radio
That's when
silence.
you know.
Yeah, because you're not posting pictures of the fried chicken sandwiches at Popeyes. I know how it works.
It's insane. And
But but the problem is you go on these diets where you lose all this weight, but it's not sustainable. Like, the keto thing that you did. You lost a shit ton of weight.
Yeah.
But I remember you tell us,
I have people,
you don't need to fucking exercise. All you gotta do is just eat this. Dude, don't eat onions.
The
Those are
secret is
sneaky
not
carbs.
eating.
Yeah. No. If I had to hear onions and tomatoes are sneaky carbs, don't fucking eat those.
I sounded like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah. So
You didn't look like him, but you sounded like him. Yeah.
but it did work, but you're right.
It
It's
did.
unsustainable. Here's why. Because you deprive yourself of all
Of
the
everything
foods
else.
you love.
Right.
And so you shouldn't do that. It should be in the word moderation. Everything. So do good 6 days.
Right.
Eat the cassata pizza. on
That's
Sunday
the
night.
and that's when I lost all the weight that I like, because I had lost weight about 10 years ago. I got down. I was to the point where people thought I was sick.
I was sick.
But
I was sick.
But it was what my BMI was supposed to be. Like at 5'6", I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be
95 pounds.
100 and no
95
no,
pounds. I mean.
yeah, no, I'm supposed to be like 150.
My
But I was down to
breakfast- my breakfast weighed
147.
150.
Yeah, but I was down to 147, and people were like, "Are you sick?" And I'm like, "No, I'm eating health."
Yeah.
But the way I did it was I cut out carbs, but I would have one cheat day every week where I could eat whatever I
Yeah, I
wanted.
didn't do
And
that.
if I had that to look forward to,
Yeah.
then I could sustain the rest of the week. But like you said, if you deprive yourself that long from all of those things, months and
Once
months
you
and
take
months,
that bite, there's no going back.
it's like crack. You get
It
hooked, right?
really is. It really is. And especially for me, like, it's just a battle. And as
Yeah.
you get older, it gets harder and harder.
Oh,
and
yeah.
harder.
I used to, I
So
mean, like
hard.
I said, 10 years ago when I was 40 something,
Yeah.
I could drop weight easy. Now, forget it. I got to do it for like 6 months before I'm seeing like 3 pounds off.
And it's always when you start doing right, you start eating right. Yeah, I'm walking every day and everything. Every single show you do, there'll be a buffet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
When you
And if there's not, you're complaining about
yeah,
it.
exactly. When you're looking for food, there's no food to be found anywhere.
We said it. We said anytime Mike Murray is judging a show, it was like, you wouldn't believe it. They had a stage. They had this big buffet table in the middle of the room. Didn't even feed the comics. It was bullshit.
I grabbed the plate. I grabbed
While you were on stage.
it was Mike Capone's friend, the bald kid that did that show.
Oh, yeah.
And we did. It was in a hotel room, conference room, and it was a whole bunch of old. It was one of the worst shows ever. They weren't not listening at all.
Was that like a fundraiser for the guy that fell off the bike?
No,
Oh,
that
oh.
was the worst show. That was,
That
that was 500 people.
I know.
watching us. And
Wasn't
So-
it you, him, and was it Rafi or no?
Rafi didn't.
Was
do
it
that.
Philip?
I got a great Rafi story for you.
Was it Philip Boris or
nope. It was a
Dario Mercant?
It was Dario.
Mercandante?
That's
It was Dario that did
Dario.
it because he took.
And he was the one that booked the other show.
Right.
So we're doing the show, and nobody's listening to the comics at all.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody. And then
Well, it's
I
like
get up there.
500 people in one room,
yeah,
and the guy had just died, right?
the guy died. Not only died, he died riding a bike. or whatever.
Right. Right.
And so Dario promptly goes up there and does a joke about a guy being on a bike,
About
riding
falling
around with
off a bike.
helmet on
Yeah,
and
right.
everything. Like, and
Yeah.
the guy died. The guy got hit by a car.
And doesn't
And
he say when
We were all
I
just
die,
screaming
I
out. He was
want
just
my?
going like this.
Didn't he say when I die, I want my
Yeah, it was
my
Dunkin'
ashes
Donuts, yes.
like spread in Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah.
And it was like the guy just died from falling off a bike.
Yeah, it was really, 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 really bad. And so, but the other one that he booked, it was like a celebration at the end of this seminar. I went on for a couple days in a hotel, and it was all men.
Yep.
I think it might have been like a Knights of Columbus type thing. and but they came from all over.
Uh-huh.
So they had this buffet table right in the middle, and they were all around it. And they did not ask us if we wanted any food or anything.
Yep.
So now one comic after another, eating, not the food.
Not the food.
Eating their set. And finally I get up there and I'm doing my set. Nobody's listening to me. So I start saying, guys, this ain't the worst set I ever had. I said, this is not the worst set I had. Let me tell you about the worst set I ever had. And then I started describing the show.
The actual show you were at.
Right there. Yeah. I said, oh my God, there was a guy right in front. He was wearing like a plaid shirt. He had like his hair and I'm just describing him. And nobody was getting it except for the comics. And they're
dying laughing. So at least you had retribution that, all right, I'm at least getting laughs from the comics. Fuck the audience. I'm not getting anything from
at
them.
That point, that's all I wanted.
Yeah, right.
To have fun because I drove a couple hours just to be there.
Just
number
to
one.
be there,
I was
right.
starving number two. You can't keep this guy down. So I start walking towards the buffet table, and I'm talking. I'm saying, "Oh yeah," and there was a buffet, and they didn't offer us if we wanted any food or anything like that. I grabbed a plate. I got the microphone under my arm now, and you're still talking while I'm doing my set. And nobody
batted an eye. They didn't get it.
I had so much fun on that show, and
that's
so
when you turn it around.
Like when people think. When you bomb, that situation was hysterical. It was funny all the way around. So driving home, it wasn't bad. You calling all your friends saying,
"Oh my God, you can't believe what happened!" Right? Yeah.
The heartbreaking bombs are when you are like you actually go up there and you bomb. They're paying attention, but they're not.
They're just not laughing.
They're just not into it, and you bomb. But as you know, comedy is you don't bomb. Just you, right. Everybody on the show is bombing. So if it's just
you feel camaraderie,
exactly,
right? Yeah, like all right, this was just a bad night, bad audience, bad setup, whatever it was. Really we all had a shit show.
Does not mean it doesn't sting.
No, it still sucks.
So when you do, someone told me a long time ago, get as many of those gigs as you can.
Yeah.
And you're going to get stronger and stronger. And,
right.
And you in the beginning, you don't want them. You say, no,
it hurts. Right. They exactly.
Sting.
Yeah.
But then after a while, you stop playing with those gigs.
Exactly.
Like, all right. It's bad. Yes.
Yep.
But what can I do to make it try to win?
I'm not going to win the audience over. So I at least have to walk out of here saying I still had fun. So that's when you start playing to the other comics.
Absolutely.
And Scott talked about it. He talked about this time him and Spike Tobin were on a show. And
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Spike Tobin, him and Greg, the redheaded guy, the little redheaded guy.
Greg Bogus?
No, not Bogus. Oh, shit. He's a Rhode Island guy. He used to.
I know who you're talking about. He does the sports. He does Bill Belichick.
Yeah. So, but it was the three of them, and the crowd wasn't listening at all. And like at one point, I think Scott was up there, and either Scott was up there or Greg was up there, and he goes, he's in the microphone talking to the other guy and Spike, and he's like, they're not even listening to us, are they? They're not listening to me. And they just started talking to each other, and the audience had no fucking clue what was going on, nor did they care. Yeah. But at least you make it fun for yourself by kind of, like you said, you're shitting on the crowd in front of them, and they're still not getting it, which makes it fun because the other comics are understanding it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's so much fun.
I should mention real quick our bourbon date this week, which is my bourbon date, because Mike is not
bourbon date.
Yeah, date.
That's what you call
we
it,
date a bourbon every week. Yeah, I have a problem. I know. But Mike is not having this because if you remember from the infamous cooking segment with Mike and Brad, Mike got very quiet, and Brad in the middle goes, "Hey, Mike, are you on edibles or something? You're awfully quiet." And you were like, "No, it's that whiskey. I had a couple of whiskeys and I'm really, it's beating me out. It's quiet."
Probably how many people had that on their bingo card when Ace was going to start doing the Mike Murray?
I have already done it twice. You didn't hear me before. But we're drinking the Jefferson's Reserve. This is the one that Scott got me for Christmas. Jefferson's Reserve.
And how
It's
much does that
beautiful.
go for that bottle?
I don't know because it was a gift, but it's
Ballpark.
probably 100, 120.
It's not that.
But that's why I don't bring it out that often. Because normally the regular
One you don't want to share.
regular-
You knew I
no,
wasn't
I would have given you some. It's really good. No, but the regular Jefferson's is only like $40.
Oh.
So it's this is their better version, but you're not breaking the bank at like $500.
Yeah. Cool.
But it is delicious, and I'm drinking it. And Mike is drinking a Tall Boy Bud Light. He goes, I don't want whiskey. I just want, dude, you got some beer that's not craft beer. And so here he is with his
I'm a
Bud
real
Light.
pussy when it comes to
Yeah.
alcohol. I get like
You said it. You get headaches.
I
Though,
get headaches and
Because I almost picked up.
I only like I'll drink half of this just
Yep.
for the taste and then I'm done.
Yeah, and I think you said it. You could
Give
try.
me a ham sandwich. Go to work on that, baby.
He'll down 3 of those. That's his vice.
That's
You don't
it.
have alcohol as your
That's
vice. It's just food.
This ain't a beer gut.
No, it's a ham sandwich gut. So what have you been up to? Because honestly, we haven't talked to you in over a year with, when you were on with Brad and stuff, but what have you been up to, just in comedy in general? I know you got your side hustle. We've been busting balls for a while about the sublimation
and-
process. I mean, you're keeping yourself busy, and then you're also doing a lot still with Funny for Funds too, right? So, I mean,
So it's always been busy. It's
Yeah.
never stops. And just like you with the cooking, and we tend to stay busy.
Yeah.
Like doing something. We have to do something or we'll go nuts.
yeah.
And I did get into the sublimation thing. I have do very little sublimation now
Uh-huh.
because it evolved into like, I was screen printing. Now there's a new process called direct to film, and but
But it's more
meantime-
T-shirts and stuff
Yeah,
like that,
yeah,
right?
More t-shirts. But what happened was I posted a couple t-shirts, and next thing you know, I got a ton of clients now. And
Right.
yeah. So my hopes are to keep building this up.
Yeah.
And so when I get as busy as I was pre-pandemic,
Yep.
I'll have passive income by just subbing out and just like supervise, making sure these orders get filled.
Right.
So I got like two jobs in the car right now. They're gonna drop.
Wow.
I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time.
You
but-
work at your own pace. That's the thing. You work at your
Exactly.
own pace. You're alone when you're doing it. I mean, yeah, you've got other people in the shop, but if you want to talk, but you kind of just
I
set
got
your
my
own
own
pace,
thing.
right?
And it was to get out of the house because my wife and my kids work from home. All of them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm told to be quiet the entire time. I don't know if you noticed, but I got a loud voice.
I don't
So
think anyone noticed. Did anyone notice that?
I leave the house first thing in the morning, and I haven't been home yet today.
Yeah.
So
And they're
come home.
happy, and you're
They're
happy.
thrilled.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, let me come home.
Especially when you come home and you go, I'm going to sleep.
Yes.
That'll be tonight. Scott.
So I keep myself busy like that.
Yeah.
And now in the meantime, so I built this all up, and I stay busy.
Yeah.
I can control it completely. So if I
Right.
don't want to take it, I don't have to take it.
Yeah, you work at your own pace.
Exactly. And now, as you know, with Bill Simus with the new comedy pop,
Right.
which is a
We had
huge undertaking.
We had Bill on about a month ago to announce. In fact, next week, if you're listening to this, next Friday. So this episode will come out on Thursday. Friday night is the very, very first show at the Comedy Park, and it's the Rhode Island Comedy Hall of Fame. So
Which,
all the a lot of the Hall of Famers are going to be there. I know you're not going to be there because you have other shows going on.
I have to.
There's
I
how
have to
many
run
Funny for Funds?
So that's the thing. So Bill has so much on his plate with the comedy park,
Yeah.
and so who better than me to like step in and say, hey,
Right.
look, I told him, I said, look, go worry about the comedy park. Let's get that going because it's great. Just like Funny
Right.
for Funds is great for the comedy community. This is even
Exactly.
it's
It's
added
just
to
as
that.
good. Right.
and the Comedy Hall of Fame it's been Bill's dream for years now to have a physical place for the Comedy Hall of Fame, which
Right.
was a butt of a joke for a lot of people.
Well, Charlie Hall had coined it, probably the very first, when he got inducted, he, you know, the joke has been the Rhode Island Comedy Hall of Fame. It's not so much a hall as a website. And now to actually have a physical location for it, it just means a lot for all of us.
Yeah,
you know,
and I think people going into this place, they're going to see it. I actually talked to Charlie today because I'm
Yeah.
actually with my sublimation.
yeah.
I will be making the plaques that go
Oh, the plaques.
underneath
Yep,
the bios of. So he's drawing like
He's doing a
all the
caricature,
yep.
and
I
then
can't
there's going
say
to be
that
a
word. I say cartoon. I can't say caricature.
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 You said it.
Caricature.
See? Now say charcuterie.
Say who?
No, but yeah, he's doing the caricatures, and then
below
underneath
is
is a
gonna be
bio, and then the plaque.
And I'll be doing all the bios. I told him today. I
Yep.
said, you know, get these files to me because
Yeah, we got to get them to you guys by Friday.
So
I know.
you'll walk in and there'll be a whole wall,
Yep.
and it's gonna be really, really cool. And
From what I
with all
understand, from what I understand, it's going to be a wall of all of the Hall of Famers, and then there's going to be like a interactive TV off to the side where you'll like I don't know if it's going to be touchscreen or what, but Bill said you'll pick someone from the Hall of Fame, and it'll show our interview that we did when each one of us did an interview with Dan,
yes.
with Dan, who is also working on the documentary, right?
Yes, which was amazing. With talking about that, I don't know if you talked about it on your episode.
No, we didn't. That's why. So talk about it.
What happened was, Dan O'Brien, he's doing this. It's always been in his blood to want to do a documentary. Yeah, and he's actually, his cousins are the Fowler brothers from Dumb and Dumber.
Right,
Something
yeah.
about Mary.
Yeah.
So he has, I guess it's in their blood.
It's in his blood.
Right?
Yeah,
So
right.
he always wanted to do a documentary, and he's doing a documentary on Rhode Island comedy. And so what he did was he invited all these comics to Bill's house.
Yep.
And I just sat back and I was like,
It was a
really
pretty amazing
cool.
night. Yeah.
It was really cool because you had so many. You had, how can you say it? You had the monsters. It was like the guys from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like the legit beginning, because comedy doesn't go that far back.
No,
it goes back to the 80s,
early 80s.
and then and so sitting there is Charlie Hall, Frank O'Donnell, John Parada, right?
Yep.
Dana.
Yep. Dana.
Pauline. It was like, all right, so now you're looking at, and then you kind of see like me, you, and then you saw like me and Bill, who came in way after.
Right.
So it was like, and then we were all just laughing and
having
talking
fun,
about
laughing.
Rhode Island comedy, and how, like, how it started, how it's going.
Yeah.
And you really don't see that.
No.
You'd be hard pressed to do that in any other state. I challenge it because ego is getting in the way.
Yeah.
Ego is getting away. Nobody would step foot in that house.
Yeah.
Because so and so was there.
Right.
But it was really cool. And having said that, there were a lot of tensions over the years among
people that were in that room. Oh, yeah.
Almost everybody in that room. Of course, we had like
issues at one point or another. But that night, everyone came together and it dissipated.
And it was it was actually gone before then.
Yeah. But I think what made it like that was the fact that we all were able to take a pause and say, wow, look at what this scene has become and how far it's come and where it started, where it is now, and where the future of it is. Yeah. And forget all the petty bullshit that maybe.
And it's exactly what
me and so-and-so didn't talk for a couple of years because we had a show together that didn't go well or whatever, or they didn't talk to this one or that. But in that night in that room, it was awesome.
It was really cool. And in the beginning too, like a couple of the handshakes were like
yeah. By the end,
can I say it? Not as sincere.
Yeah.
If that's a word or two.
Well, because some of us haven't been in the same room in years. And now, what I mean?
Now we're kind of like not forced, but guided into this one room. And we had no choice but to talk.
Right.
And it was really cool. There was nobody.
Well, because the newer guys like you were interested in hearing Charlie and Frank tell the story of how comedy came about and how the very first comedy club of Periwinkles came about. And, and we've talked about Periwinkles on this show a bunch of times, but even Scott said it. He said, we should do a show talking about Periwinkles, like get Charlie and Frank back and Mike,
have more than enough
Mike
material.
McCarthy and a lot of the guys that were there in the beginning. And, I mean, the newest inductee into the Hall of Fame this year, that hasn't happened yet. So we just had Ruth Buzzy was inducted. Ruth, obviously not a stand-up, but obviously brought huge, notoriety by being in Laughing and stuff. But this year's next inductee is going to be Al Ducharme. And people have heard me talk about it. Al was like one of the elder statesmen. Like when I started, there were like 3 classes in the beginning. There was the Charlie, Frank, all the guys that started it in the beginning, Mary Ellen. And then there were Tom Cotter and Al Ducharme and Greg Fitzsimmons and Joe Rogan, and they were the second group. Fitzsimmons was from here too. And then there were the guys like me, John Parada, Rock and Joe, Eddie Galvin. So like those were the first 3 classes of comedy that came through. And to see Al getting into, inducted, and listen, there's other people that certainly deserve to be in. And hopefully in the next couple of years, now that we actually have a physical location for the Hall of Fame, I'd love to see Frank Santos get in. I'd love to see Ed Regine get in. There are people that have
like any Hall of Fame, there should be like where a nomination,
right? Yeah,
and then you have a nomination, then you have a vote, and then
exactly.
and not, but
it'd be great.
Years ago, you didn't have the number of people in it,
right?
So now you've got a good chunk of people where you could start that system. And I think
it'd be great if they came up, like if Joe and Dana came up with like a ballot of 3 people once a year, 3 people, and then have everyone in the hall
anonymously vote
for who they feel should get in that year, and then have that person, have it get in. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself, but just to have a physical location for the Hall of Fame. And then obviously for Billy's dream and a lot of our dreams, to have a comedy club, another comedy club in the state that supports local comics and especially pays homage to the comedy scene and how it evolved, is just going to be great.
We certainly have enough comedians
absolutely
in the area to support this. And what you saw the other night there and what you saw on the opening ceremony of the park.
Yeah. Look at how many
all the regular people that showed up. And I told Bill, I said, if you get 1/10 of the support that these people seem to be willing to bring, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
And
listen, I reached out because, obviously we're raising funds to help pay for the Hall of Fame for next week's show. That's what next week's show is. It's a fundraiser. I reached out to 6 or 7 businesses, friends of mine, that I know that own a business. And I raised probably $700-800 just today.
Absolutely.
For it, which is great.
And it's important because Bill's putting a lot of money on the line here.
Right.
People think, oh, you just money. No, he's doing it all.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of money. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And I'm supporting them. And I'm not even there. I'm not even going to sniff that place until July.
Right. Right.
Which is, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because I have something important to take care of.
Right.
And since before the pandemic started, we had over 100 shows on books ready to go.
Right.
And as we never booked more than 4 or 5 weeks out. So 100 shows were happening in a span of 5 weeks.
Right.
Right now, if you count the shows on Funny for Fun, it's like 55 shows ready to go.
Ready to go.
So we're back.
And I've got like 3 or 4 that aren't ready to go yet, but they're in the process of booking. So there's going to be a lot in the fall.
Yeah.
It's going to get busy.
So I'm very, very busy with it. And so I'm happy doing that.
Yeah.
And that's
supporting. It's still supporting.
I'm support. Yeah.
You're supporting Bill in a different way.
Supporting the park.
Exactly.
Even though I'm not there.
Right.
What I'd like to absolutely. I would love to be.
Well, listen, Scott and I are going to be there in August, but it's going to be a behind the funny weekend. I don't have a headlining weekend yet. I'll probably get one in the fall. My thing, what we're doing is we're going to do a behind the funny weekend where on Friday and Saturday night, we're going to have me, Scott, and a guest. We'll each do like 10 or 15 minutes of material, but then we're going to do the podcast live from the comedy park. So it'll be a little bit of a different, thing.
That would be real cool.
Yeah.
So
people can come to the comedy park and actually watch us and be part of the live audience at a taping of Behind the Funny.
You should have the table set up right off to the side of the stage or behind the stage or off to the side, and then you do your set and then go sit down.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, exactly.
And then do your set, go sit. Then when you're all seated,
then we all come together. Yeah. That's a great idea.
And then you could actually talk about your set that just happened.
Right.
And interactions with the audience.
Yeah.
I think that would be real cool because I don't think that's been done.
No, I mean, there's definitely podcasts that have done live shows, but a little bit different. I don't know if they've performed and then done the podcast. So then we're looking forward to it. It'll be a little bit
enough people.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping. So that'll be in the first weekend in August is actually when we're doing that. So we'll have a lot more information coming up.
Let's see, check on the leaderboard and see
if
anybody's
who's Josh Barrett says word on the street is that Mike is Alan Fung's campaign t-shirt manager. That's it. He may be.
True. Alan called me the other day and
did he?
Yes, he did. And
Alan Fung, our friend,
I got
as Brad Pierce calls him, Bin Zing Fung. He said that was the worst.
We went to Alan Fung's house for dinner and Brad just doesn't know how to shut his mouth. Sometimes
he can't help it.
Brad, look, no off-color stuff. And as soon as
he walks
Alan
in,
Fung's house,
I ain't taking my shoes off, right?
I'm not taking. I told him I wasn't taking. My shoes
off.
All
right.
And Brad was saying something about like, where's the cat?
Oh yeah,
like
because
that.
they were. Yeah, he was making
like,
Chinese food.
And then but Alan called me the other day, and here's the funny thing about Alan. He had one of his first fundraisers. He's doing really well, by the way. He's raised over $500,000 in the first quarter.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so very good. And so he came by the shop, and I gave him some like shirts and stuff like that. And so I said, hey, I'm gonna come to the fundraiser. How's the dress?
Yep.
He's comfortable, just comfortable. I show up.
I can imagine.
Thank God I had an Alan Fung hoodie on. I had my regular standard jeans, my sneakers.
Yeah.
Everybody is
dressed up in a suit or at least khakis and a jacket.
It was like what is that rich guy that has those giant parties in the on the steps of Newport?
Oh yeah, right.
Like,
the Great Gatsby.
Yeah, the Great Gatsby. It was like I walk in and Alan's standing right there. I'm like, dude,
you told me to be comfortable.
You told me comfortable. You think I'm the help? I was like only person.
People are like, excuse me,
sweatshirt.
Excuse me, waiter.
They were walking around with the food, right? Like the great food, and they were like walking around me. Like,
they're like, we ain't giving him that.
Guy, I'm like, dude, I donated.
That's awesome.
And, so he called me there. I'm like, so, well, if it isn't Alan Fung, Mr. Dress Comfortable Mike Murray, don't worry about nothing.
At the Newport Mansions.
I swear the next fundraiser, I'm wearing a purple tuxedo.
That you should, a zoot suit. Oh my God. When was his fundraiser? I didn't even know about it. I would have gone.
Now see, I'm gonna tell you, and you're gonna say, Mike, you should have known. It was at Alpine Country Club.
Okay, you should have known. Yeah. You don't wear jeans and a hoodie to Alpine Country Club.
4 o'clock in the afternoon at the Alpine Country Club. And it was only for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And
it's like a cocktail reception
you get that money
thing.
And
right, exactly. Yeah.
And so he also called me up because as you know, Funny Funds, we have the best sound systems possible.
Right.
And I was there that night. I'm saying that. I'm like, listen, and they were having a problem with the sound.
Yeah.
So I didn't say nothing, but he ended up calling and said, hey, do you have a sound system? I said, absolutely. So next Tuesday, he's got another
fundraiser,
actual kickoff of his thing. It's gonna be
of
at
his
that
campaign
Armory in East Greenwich.
Oh yeah.
Really
Yeah.
cool room. You ever do
Yeah.
a show there?
I haven't, but I've been in there. It's a
Dude.
big open room. Yeah.
I mean, it's like an old armory. One
Yeah.
of the first armories
there's
in
a
America.
ton of revolutionary
Yes, and it's
costumes
like
and guns
loft.
and
It's like a museum
Yeah.
space.
yeah.
And it's really, really cool. So
When my son was in Cub Scouts, that was one of the like meetings was there.
I will
and
be
they
dressing up.
showed us. Are you?
I will be dressed. I'll be wearing my teenage daughter's Survivor suit.
Oh my God.
but it was
Can
so
only
funny.
imagine.
He told me to do that, and I was laughing so hard.
That's awesome. So you've been busy with Funny for Funds, obviously. It's picking up.
We're heading down to Florida.
Uh-huh.
Mary Ellen moved down there.
Yep. Our
And
friend
she's-
Mary Ellen DiPetrillo, who's been on the show before, she moved down to the West Coast, Homosassa, Florida.
It's about an hour
Um,
from Tampa,
Yep, about an hour north of Tampa on the West Coast,
and she's got her first Funny for Fun show in a theater
down there.
So
yeah.
I'm heading down there, and she's going to set up a couple of shows. A couple other people. I noticed Stacey Kendra was on your show last week.
Yep.
She was down there last
She
week.
was down there 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
and did a couple of shows
And
for Mary Ellen.
Wanda's heading down there.
Yep. I
So-
told Mary Ellen, I said, if you can set me up like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because she has a regular show on Sunday night. I said, if you can get me some Friday, Saturday shows, I'll come down for the weekend. I got points.
Yeah, I got the points. And
Exactly.
It's amazing. I never knew the point thing, right?
Yeah.
And somebody, Brad actually told me he
Yeah.
uses a Southwest card for all the stuff.
That's it.
And,
You use it for everything and
When I
you
went
just
to
rack
visit
up
my
the points.
my uncle,
Yeah.
it was free. Me and my brother went for free
Mhm.
round trip, and I'm going to Florida round
Yep.
trip, direct flights, mind you, which
Yeah.
is awesome.
Yeah.
And hopefully no weight problems.
Hopefully they balance the plane out.
$11.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just an $11 like
We have
fee.
no points left, but
Yeah, but you rack them up. They'll come back.
Yeah.
I'm just
Anybody
watching
saying
to
anything?
see. Just seeing Scott Higgins says, oh sure, now that the Jefferson Reserve comes out, now that I'm not there. Sorry, buddy. Hope you're feeling better. I know he couldn't even dial in because he said he's just coughing really, really bad every time he tries to talk. So
yeah, Billy had it like that. He
Yeah.
couldn't answer. Yeah.
yep.
Some people.
Everyone is different. Everyone is affected
Yeah.
different. Me, when I got it back in November, it just knocked me on my ass for about 3 or 4 days, and
Yeah.
then I started feeling better. In fact, before that, I had no voice for like 3 months, and I kept
remember.
telling people, "I don't have COVID. I don't have COVID."
Did I have to do something because you had no voice?
I think you may have.
you asked me to do something because you couldn't.
Well, we
speak.
did a show together.
That's
And
right. It
yeah,
was
it
your
was for my
brother's show.
brother. Yeah, my brother's Marine Corps
Yeah.
group.
That-
They
that was
had a
fun
show. It was a fun show, but the problem was I was supposed to feature, and then I ended up having to have you headline because I couldn't even host the friggin' show, because I had no voice.
They were talking about your brother on radio today.
Oh, really?
John DePietro. They were talking about not him.
Oh,
name
you
by
mean
name.
the correctional
but
officers?
yeah, how he
yeah.
makes 300,000 a year.
Yeah. Well, they're
And then
also
I'm like, well,
Yeah.
if you see how he lives,
Yeah, they also but if you look at how these correctional officers, if you had to live in the fucking prison all the time doing
my brother
quads,
does it. Quads.
yeah,
And
quads all the time.
they're
You're
in
living
there
there.
longer than the prisoners
Yeah,
themselves.
Exactly.
So my brother's. So how many years? 20 years, your brother? At least
oh,
minimum
he's almost 30.
30 years. So
Yeah.
think about that for a second.
30 years. They've had a
30
longer
years.
sentence than half these prisoners.
Exactly. And they
Yeah,
can't-
no, they
can't
earn their money.
stay-
And you know what?
can't
They don't want to be doing 4 quads or 3 quads a week. But the problem is they haven't been hiring classes in the past couple of
No.
years. So there's just a big drain. But
By the time they fix that, he'll be off to the
well,
sunset
that's
retirement.
the other problem. There's a couple of hundred officers right now that are ready to retire. Bunch of them have already retired. My brother's only got like 4 years before he can retire. So there's going to be a huge drain in the system over the next like 3 or 4 years. And there's not a lot of classes. There's
And
not a
that's
lot
what
of
they were
people
talking
getting
about.
into
like,
it.
Really,
Yeah.
get these classes going.
Well, they can't. They're not getting the applicants because no one wants to get into law enforcement because everyone shits on law enforcement now, So who the hell wants to, where's the
I would
motivation to
love
go into
on
it?
I would make a good god. right
Oh,
now.
yeah, you would.
Huh?
Yeah, you would.
Busting heads.
Busting heads. What are you busting? Wait,
How's the food in there?
yeah, that's the only head you're busting is the fucking
Steve, how's
toilet.
the food in there?
Yeah.
Hook me up.
The toilet is the only the only head that you're busting. Dave Kane, another original Periwinkles guy. Dave Kane says, love this show. Thank you.
I met him at the Mary Ellen's roast.
Oh yeah. Oh, was he on Mary Ellen's roast?
Yeah.
Because that was the thing. Mary Ellen was like, "Yeah, I want you to be on my roast." I go, "All right, I'm in Florida."
But don't make fun of me.
No, I go, "I'm in Florida, but I'll be there." I said, "Yeah, what time is it?" "I don't know yet. It'll be probably that night." I go,
like
"All right."
3:00.
I go, "I land at 5. I'll shoot right over to your thing." No, fucking thing started at 3:00 and was
like,
done by 5.
It was like a bingo.
Yeah, exactly. The old woman bingo, right? Exactly. So what else has been going on besides the Funny for Fun? You keeping busy with the t-shirts, with doing stuff with the park,
the comedy.
Have you done any more public speaking?
I've not, and that's where my weight comes in there. And
Yeah.
I know as you know, like anybody, I do plan on getting back into it.
Yeah.
But I know I got to do something first about the way I look,
Yeah.
because you got to pass the eyeball test.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I said, every day
Hard
I gotta
to motivate
plan. It's
people.
A battle. It's
Yeah.
a battle. Who really? I got a couple really good people that push me,
Mhm.
like the Andrea Henrys, the Amy T's, and
Yeah.
even Rhonda Corey.
Yeah.
Talks a lot. I'll tell you, Ron does what she does. It's when you watch somebody like how she gets these gigs and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, she hustles. She hustles, gets herself out there,
Yeah.
and she knows the game. She knows that part of the game.
Right.
So it's always
right.
good to hook up with somebody like that and like just talk about it. Like, all right, what can I do to make my chances better? And there's always a thing too. There's this saying that
Mhm.
goes, he was in the right place at the right time,
Right.
which is true. So
Yeah.
if with that being true, you have to put yourself in more places.
Yep.
So if you it's not going to come to you, but I do have to be more proactive in it.
Yeah.
Now that I don't know if I told you this. I had an offer to do a talk
Yep.
in Kansas,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a $7,000 gig
Wow.
for 30 minutes.
Right.
7,000 plus expenses.
It's crazy.
And it was
public
for- yeah, it
speaking,
was
you
for-
can make way more money in public
Oh, yeah.
speaking than comedy.
And it was funny. I don't know if I told you this.
No.
Like I never really, was just starting to get into it.
Yeah.
They found me,
Yep.
and they actually found me through Vinny Jack's old site of
Oh yeah, funny
yeah.
for hire. Yeah.
Funny
yeah.
for Hire. And he thought it was a joke,
Yep.
but then he saw it was a New York number,
Yep.
and it was called Speakers International, I think it's
Yeah.
called.
Yeah.
And they're located in New York and the United Kingdom.
that's
I
a-
looked them up. Yeah.
That's a legit public speaking agency. Yeah.
And he called me, and so I had a great conversation with the guy.
Yep.
And we're talking, and then we get down to the rate and everything. And he said, and I told him I was being honest.
Yeah.
But the gig was perfect for me. They were
Yep.
seeking someone who had a hearing loss
Yep.
and was humorous.
Yep.
And so here I am with the cochlear implants, right? And I was already starting to do small gigs with the speaking. And he said, all right. So he said, we're gonna shoot for 7.
Yep.
We'll probably end up with 5 plus expenses. And tried not to jump through the phone.
Yeah, right. After you just took $100 gig on a Thursday night at Benny's Clam Shack.
I'm doing gigs for doing gigs for a pizza slice. Yeah. Thank you, Mike Katrobis, if you're listening. Swear to God,
right.
drove to New Hampshire, no pay, but we're giving you
We'll
pizza.
give you pizza.
Ain't-
I'm in. You had me a pizza.
Say no more, Mike. What kind of pizza we talking? So
It's not just cheese, right? I want pepperoni.
So yeah, and that's what I really
Yeah.
want to do, because
Listen, man, I have told you from the
a
beginning.
million times, and
I did 4 years. I was with Toastmasters, which is a public speaking club where you learn how to deliver speeches. And I told you back then, you would make an amazing public speaker, because most public speakers have some story of overcoming adversity.
Yeah.
But then if you can be humorous in your speech, you're going to be even better. And most public speakers, if they can make the audience laugh once every 10 to 15 minutes,
they're considered human.
they're considered humorous. as comics, we're making people laugh every 20 seconds. If you can make
If you
people
can't-
laugh,
If you're not, you're bombing.
right. But if you can have your story where you're making people laugh every 5 to 10 minutes, you're a fucking rock star on the public
Yeah,
speaking circuit.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And it was
You
such-
have such an opportunity in front of you.
yeah, and it's all about the and there's a niche for me because
Absolutely.
that show that one they wanted me on
Yeah.
was for adolescent hearing loss.
Wow.
800 people.
Right.
So 800 people, parents and audiologists all dealing with adolescents hearing. I'm
Right.
perfect for this thing.
Right.
And then boom, pandemic,
Pandemic hit.
canceled.
Yeah.
So little by and things are coming out of it now.
Yeah. You got to get back.
I have been working on it. I got
Yeah.
so basically what it is like if you see Amy T, she
Yeah.
does a lot of talks too.
Right.
Now if you watch her talk, it's pretty much her set,
Yeah.
but her set with some stats.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I've been compiling stats.
Yep.
There's 60 million Americans with the hearing
With
loss,
hearing
and-
loss,
and-
right.
and like 45 of them don't seek help. 45 million
Wow.
of the sick. Yeah. So it's really it's a stigma. It's
Right.
a stigma attached to it.
Right.
So somebody would rather say, huh, than to seek help.
Then to try
To
and get
wear
help.
something in their ear and people
Right.
are like, oh, what do you
It's vanity. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like so I got put all those things in there.
Yep.
And plus my own personal experience with going
Right.
from being deaf to hearing
To hearing.
and how great it is and how my life changes from going from being dependent on people
On
to
people,
being
right.
independent. And it's amazing the fact that it happened so late in my life. I mean, people
Now, let
I
me-
grew up had no clue I was even hearing impaired because of
Right.
the way I
You
masked
covered it up.
Yeah.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. Did you wait that long because the technology wasn't there? Or did you wait that long because of vanity, because you didn't want
Great question.
people to know?
Great question.
Well, I am a
I
professional.
I saw, huh?
I said I am a professional
yeah.
interviewer now.
Sure. I sought help
Mhm.
forever. Never stopped looking for help.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, like all through my life, every single doctor said, forget it. There's nothing can be done with you. Nothing
Really?
can be done with you. Nothing can be done with you. Learn sign language. You can't hear, blah, blah, blah. It's getting worse. worse.
And at that time that they were telling you that, were cochlear implants invented?
They were invented, but they didn't really start coming out. Now,
Okay.
10 years before I got the implants,
Yep.
I had an opportunity to get them.
Mhm.
And that's where it's the answer to your question. 10 years before, I was invited to this seminar,
Yeah.
and it was all people who were likely candidates for. So now
cochlear
somebody who had
implants.
some hearing is much better suited
Right.
for a cochlear implant because your hair fibers are active, they're not dormant.
Right.
Okay, so I was a good candidate for it.
Right. Because like you said, and I know this is one of your jokes, but it's like you could hear sounds, you just couldn't understand them.
Exactly.
It was like being in China and all you
Everybody
wanted was
talking,
I
yeah.
could hear everyone talking. I couldn't understand, but I had a craving
Yeah.
for a number 7
Yeah.
General's chicken.
Yeah. So
love
it's
that joke.
exactly. Yeah. So it's like
Right.
I can hear people talk. I just didn't know what they were saying.
Yeah.
And same thing with music. I can hear it come on. I
Right.
recognize it. I have my favorite songs or sounds.
Ding dong
But
till your dreams
Just
come
didn't
true.
know what they were singing. So, yeah, exactly. So the reason why I didn't get the cochlear implant was I'm like, I'm not putting something in my head, having my head opened up, then drilling
Screws and
holes in my
magnets.
head.
Yeah, right.
magnets and electrodes. And then what happens 10 years from then? They come up with something better. I'm stuck with this.
Right.
So I was misinformed. I didn't realize that all the upgrades were done on the outside. So
Not
I
the
have
inside.
the latest. Yeah, this is
Right.
the latest and greatest. There's no wires.
Yeah, it's even different from when I
Yeah.
first met you. You used to
Yeah.
have the wire
Yeah,
and all that
exactly.
stuff.
And
that
then-
just
so now it's not on my ear.
Yep.
So
Right.
it's like they're not even there. If you're looking straight at me, you can't.
Yeah,
even
no,
see
you
them.
can't even see it.
So,
Right.
These are the and the first unit I had was a body worn processor. It looked like a Walkman. Wires up my shirt, like
Really?
Secret Service.
Yep.
And then the first behind the ear was giant.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it was like your ears
Yeah,
hurt.
it hurt. Right. Right.
And then this is the 5th model. Every
Wow.
5 years,
They come up
you
with
can
some
have-
sort of
you can have
upgrade.
an upgrade.
Well, I remember even the upgrade that you got was probably the one before this, where all of a sudden it was the first time there was Bluetooth, where you were like, yeah, dude, all I got to do to answer my phone is just click the button and I can hear you. It's crazy.
Not even that.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Right.
So, which is crazy because so if you can call me, if you
Yeah.
call me now, it rings in my head.
I see.
And then,
Wow.
so if it's on my phone,
But I get a
I could just
message.
go like that.
But I get a message on my end saying, oh shit.
Do you?
It's like a woman's voice and it says, thank you for calling. We're trying to connect you now, or something like that.
That's
When I call.
no, that's my new thing. That's a T-Mobile thing. That's not the
oh,
Bluetooth.
really?
Yeah, it's just
Oh,
a
okay.
regular phone call right now.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about the Bluetooth for cochlear implants
Yeah.
is it shuts down all outside noises.
Right.
I could
Because
be-
that was the big problem. You couldn't hear, even like when we would be doing a show together and we'd be talking, I could still sense you reading my lips because there's so much background
Yeah.
noise that you
Yeah.
can't hear
Yeah, I'm
me.
always looking at the lips, anyways, just to because it just helps me.
Just to confirm, right, what
Yeah.
you're saying.
yeah.
Well, you've gotten used to it. You've done it
Yeah.
for 50 something
Yeah.
years, right? So,
So it's really cool. It's an amazing technology, and
Yeah.
and you know me, I'm a big proponent. Is that the word of,
Yeah.
of it? And an advocate for it. And I've spoken for Dr. Brian Duff,
mhm.
and which is one of the most amazing stories of Funny for Funds.
Yeah,
I tell you the story.
not on the show, but I know the
Can
the
I tell you
stories.
a
Yeah,
story?
absolutely, man.
So we
yeah.
running out of time.
No. Keep talking.
Okay,
keep
cool.
talking.
So
That's
this is the
fine.
greatest story
This
ever.
is great.
And so we've done over 2,000 shows. So we raised almost $7 million for groups and causes of all kind. And I didn't get my hair until I was 40. And then I didn't step on to comedy stage till I was 45.
Yep.
At 50, I started Funny for Funds.
Yep.
Okay. And around 51, 52, I brought Bill on board, and then we took it to the
Right. Next
stratosphere.
level.
Is that the
Right.
word? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have this thing we say at Funny Funds, we don't book shows, we book moments.
Yep.
Because almost every show has a meaning behind it.
Yep.
Almost every show has we found out early on that we weren't just doing comedy shows.
No.
And because every show seemed to have yes, we did the little leagues and the cheerleading and stuff,
Mhm.
but most of them are for somebody who's sick
Yeah.
or somebody who needs medical relief on their bills or someone who passed. Or,
But even the ones for a little league or whatever, like I just did
Yeah.
one last month and it was for an organization like a little league or
Yeah.
whatever. And at the end of the night, I didn't tell them to do this. They just all got in a huddle in front of the stage and were hugging each other because this is the most money they had ever that they had ever raised
it's crazy, huh?
for the organization. And I took a picture of it and I put it up.
Yeah. And it makes you get choked up.
Exactly.
And then it's at that point, and I told Billy early on,
Yeah.
I had to say it a few times until he really got it. I said, please understand. Do you really understand what we are doing here?
Yeah.
And then so that became a big part of Funny for Funds.
Mhm.
So that was it. Fast forward. When somebody calls Funny for Funds or sends an email, I call them. I ask them 2 questions all the
Yep.
time. How did you hear of us?
Mhm.
And what are you looking to raise the money for?
Yep.
I got a phone call from a doctor.
Yep.
And I said, what are you looking to raise money for? And he said, well, me and a handful of other doctors are going to go to Africa
Mm-hmm.
for a month and provide free clinics,
Mm-hmm.
which is admirable.
Yeah.
It's admirable.
Yeah.
And because doctors get a bad rap. They're greedy, they're uppity, and
No, a lot of them do that. Doctors
But
Without
believe it or
Borders.
not, believe it or not, we get a ton of doctors that do this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. So this guy is not only sacrificing all his good life here
Mm-hmm.
to not only go by himself, but a handful of doctors and provide free service, which is crazy. But we've done a ton of shows like that. But what was different about this one particular doctor,
Mm-hmm.
it was the very doctor that gave me my hearing.
Oh wow.
Dr. Brian Duff called
Okay.
Funny for Funds, looking to raise money for his fundraiser.
For his fun.
trip.
Wow.
And I got a picture of him. And so in my talk, it's on a PowerPoint. I talk about that.
Yeah.
And then boom, it's me and him standing on stage at the so it's like full circle.
Yeah.
So I went from having my wife do everything for me. So
Right.
I mean, when in my jokes, I talk about cleaning carpets. That's
Yeah.
a true story. She would take all the information out, and this is before the internet. So she would write the directions down, and write
Right.
the whole directory and stuff like that. Remember that? Like
Yeah.
7, you know, and he
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, all right. So
I remember that.
yeah, and then I would get to I did one job, and
Yep.
the client was always aware that I couldn't hear,
Yep.
but they didn't stop them from trying to
From
talk.
trying to talk to you, right?
And I got by good enough with reading lips.
Reading lips.
So I get to this one job. It was in North Providence actually,
Mm-hmm.
and a woman says, "Oh, my brother was deaf." And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." She, "Oh no, he didn't die." I'm like,
Well, you said was.
well, maybe
Yeah,
you
right.
should lead off a little better with that.
Used to
I
be
said,
deaf.
Oh, she
Yeah.
said, "Oh no, he didn't die. He's got the cochlear implants now." This is 10 years after.
After
I
you had
turned them
heard
down.
about them, right?
And I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "How's he doing them?" She goes, "Oh my God." She said, "He can hear everything, and he tells me to be quiet."
Wow.
I said, "Do you have the doctor's name?" I take the
Dr.
name.
Duff.
Now, back then, this was before texting.
Yeah.
Only the deaf people had this. It was like a you know those first Skype phones?
Yeah.
The deaf people had that. And
Really?
instead of a text, you sent emails.
Yeah.
It was a little portable email. So
Yeah.
I text my email my wife right away and say, "Make an appointment with this doctor, blah blah blah." And then next thing you know, I met with the doctor,
Yep.
and I went through a battery of tests. I mean, like a month.
Well, they had to make sure
yeah,
that you were the
yeah.
right candidate, right?
Yeah, MRIs, you name it. And he said, "I think we can help you."
Wow.
And it was the first time a doctor said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
In
Because you've
all of
been
my
being
life.
told your whole life, nope, you're deaf. You got to learn to read
I-
lips. Got to learn
yep.
to read sign language.
Yeah,
Right.
and then sure enough, and we did. Now to give you an idea, I don't want to bore anybody, but this is fascinating stuff.
Mm.
So to give you an idea, the to change from me to non-hearing world to hearing world. One of the tests
You
they
learned
gave
two
me-
things that rock
Yeah.
your world.
Yeah,
One, farts make
I know.
noise.
Yeah, that's what.
Sorry. Doing
So
your act.
they would give you a test in a booth, a soundproof booth with the headset,
Yep.
and they would say the word boat,
Mhm.
and I would have to say boat,
Yeah.
but I would say something like sneaker or something like that.
Right.
I got 0 right
Yeah.
in a 1-hour test, not a single word
Wow.
correct. After the first implant, I scored 85% correct
Wow.
on the same test.
Just with one
Just
implant.
one implant. That's when the doctor said, "Let's do the other ear."
Wow.
Now, it was a bad recovery for me. I woke up from the
Yeah.
surgery sick.
Uh-huh.
When they drill with any surgery, they beat the shit out of you while you're under because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
racing against the time.
Listen, if you've ever heard any kind of orthopedic surgery,
Yeah.
it sounds like carpentry going on in the
Yes,
next
exactly.
room.
My wife had 2
Like-
hips done, and they're mounting.
Oh yeah.
And if you got guts to watch YouTube, watch these surgeries,
Yeah, right.
and watch the cochlear implant surgery, because what they do is they cut you from like here to here. It's like a facelift.
Yeah, they rip
down.
everything down.
Yeah, my ear was down here.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
they drill a spot in your skull
Yep.
for the magnet so it won't move.
Yep.
And then there's an electrode about this big, and they feed that into the
Into the
cochlea,
thing,
which is
yeah.
behind the eardrum and bones.
Mhm.
It looks like a seashell.
Right. Yeah.
And then they put everything back. But it's 1 month before they turn you on. It's not instant. It's a month.
Really.
Because the
Because they need
swelling-
everything to heal after the swelling.
Yes, the
right.
swelling. And let me tell you something. It was painful.
Yeah.
It was like having the worst headache you ever had for like a month.
You were Captain Fat Head instead of Fat Neck.
So but as much pain as I was in,
Yeah.
but the success of one, he said, "Let's do the other one." I didn't hesitate. I said, "Let's do it."
Yeah.
I get home, I told my wife, I said, "Kat, Dr. Duff said, let's do the other ear." And she goes, "Isn't one enough?" Yeah,
Really?
because of the copay. But this lady is the same lady that's good. That just put a
wrap.
finger.
Yeah, right. Oh my
I
God.
said, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah.
I said, "I think thank God I don't need a leg."
Yeah. Right.
You were like,
Yeah,
"Give me
it's
a-
just one's
let's
okay.
let's
You
just
can
get a
hop
stick."
around. Yeah. Get a peg leg.
You can't hop.
Yeah. Right. Come on. You're gonna ruin Halloween. You could have been a pirate every year.
Exactly.
Right.
It's a true story, and I throw it in her face all the
Mhm.
time. And she actually a few weeks
I'm
ago
sure
brought
she-
it up. It was hysterical.
Yeah. I'm sure she understands it.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
it's a great story, and
Yeah.
I love telling the story about Dr. Brian Duff.
Yeah.
I have referred at least 4 people
Yep.
to him,
To him.
and that ended up getting the implants
That's
and
great.
changed their life.
Yeah.
Changes your and
Well, listen, like you said, look at I mean, you not only got your hearing, but then you also fulfilled a lifelong dream of getting into comedy. You took Frank O'Donnell's comedy boot camp, graduated, and now have been a successful comic for what, 15 years, right? Like that's something that you would have never been able to do.
Yeah, I didn't have the story.
Right.
I didn't have the story.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have probably did it, but with comedy, you need vocal variety, you need time,
Yeah.
you need time, and you need delivery. But if you don't have timing,
Yeah.
if you can't hear the audience, you don't have timing.
Right. Yeah.
You got to know when those laughs are coming down, so that you come in.
So that
again.
you come
Yeah,
in again.
exactly. So,
Wow.
and if you watch my set, if you see me as a regular person, I
Yeah.
talk like kind of like the same tone all. But if you watch my set, I slow everything down
Right.
and I have a little more vocal variety
Yeah.
because I talk on stage as if how I wanted to be talked to before I could
Right.
hear. Nice
Yeah.
and clear,
Slower
nice
and clear.
slow.
Right.
And nobody can ever say they didn't understand what I said
No.
in my
no.
set because I do I go out of my way, but that's just the way I've always been.
Except for a few words like jalapeno.
I have now see Bill does that joke, but it was actually my joke.
Yeah.
And the joke comes about, and I told him, I said, if we're not on a show, I'm gonna probably do it again. It's like we talk about how silent letters
Right.
suck.
Yeah, because you
They
do
stay-
because
yeah,
you said it.
I read the
How do
word
you
as
say
it's-
that word? Viola? When the magician pulls a
Oh,
rabbit out of the hat.
I caught
Hell
for
for
that.
saying
So pisciatrist, knee,
yeah.
swordfish,
Yeah.
yak,
Yeah.
yak.
Anything that was a
Anything
silent
with
letter would mess you
and
up.
It was like, and I have to fight myself sometimes now.
From saying it.
Oh,
Yeah.
But you know what? You know what sucks? Nobody told me. Nobody told me.
That's because we like hearing you say it.
Yeah, they
That's
like.
right.
I'm
We
like,
love
why
it.
didn't you tell me?
I know.
I just read everything when I
Yeah.
was growing up, so I knew I
Yeah,
know how
so-
to use big words. I
Right.
don't know how to say them, so sometimes I'm afraid to say them because I
Right.
know I'm gonna. And
But you've gotten really good at just saying,
Yeah.
how do you say that? How do you say this? Or
yeah,
you know,
yeah, I do.
when you're with friends, obviously.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure you're
What's funny is
more
when I'm
open.
doing raffles. Like the other night, I was doing raffles. You've been part of this,
yeah.
and there's always like a bottle of wine or something like I can't
Yeah.
pronounce. You know,
Oh,
like Pignoc Sauvignon, whatever. It's like
Pinot Grigio.
yeah, Pinot Grin,
Pignat Signe.
Pinot Grincio, and like what? I said I think it's French. So
That's
it
funny.
is funny, and
Yeah.
the audience gets a
The
kick out
audience
of it.
gets it right.
And yes, there was
But that's
another
the thing.
one.
You've got
Sa-
a good sense of
Sovereign
Sauvignon.
Sovereign blank,
Sauvignon Blanc. Yeah. Yeah. Savin Blanc.
Sovereign blank.
Yeah.
I heard this is a good one too. You know, it's like I get a kick
But
out of
you
it.
have
So
fun
when they
with
see
it.
me having fun with it, they know it's okay to
It's
laugh.
okay to laugh. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing.
And
You're a
that's
good
what
sport about
comedy
it.
is.
Well,
is-
even your bit about, about your favorite song growing up.
yes,
It's
all true.
yeah, exactly. But I love how you say none of you fuckers ever told me
Yeah,
that they would
exactly.
sing and dream on. Right.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
a funny joke.
And in evidence of like you pick on yourself and everything like that, and clearly I have a sense of humor about my
course.
picking on myself. And in my set, I talk about blind people a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm always the one that ends up the loser.
The
in
butt of the
yeah.
joke. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is so it's fine when you do that. And in my set, I do talk about doing a fundraiser. I mean,
Yeah.
a private show for the National Federation of Blind. That's true.
Yeah.
I did 2 of them actually.
Yeah.
The blind love me.
Yeah.
They love me.
Yeah. Right.
They're facing the other way, but they love me.
And the dogs are
Yeah.
facing you. Yeah. Right.
And dogs are like,
I'm telling you, my favorite joke of yours, and it's not even like a long joke, but when you start saying, "What's with the deal with the blind?" Why are they gonna wear glasses? You don't see the deaf people wearing earmuffs. That is such a fucking genius, simple joke, and it's so funny. And most times audiences laugh, but when audiences don't laugh, I'm like want to scream from the back of the room. Go, what don't you get? That's a fucking hilarious joke, you know.
I got an old joke that I finally just brought back because I'm doing more and more clean shows and everything. So it's a clean joke, and a lot of comics like this one.
Yep.
And you'll know it when you hear it. You very rarely hear me say it because I just brought it back.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first jokes I wrote. And it was like, I remember one time a bunch of my deaf friends, we got together and we were going to fight a bunch of blind dudes. And then that gets a laugh right there. I'm like, I know, hysterical. I said, I know, hysterical. And we thought we were going to mess them up.
Yeah.
You know, because they never see the punches coming.
Yeah.
But what happened was they kicked our asses.
Yeah. They kicked
our asses. I mean, if we only figured in the German Shepherds.
I remember that joke. That's a great joke.
It's a great joke. And but sometimes people don't get it. They don't get it.
Yeah, right.
And I'm going, if we only, so I slowed it down. I did it the other night. By the way, you know who's on the show with me?
Who?
John Porch. I know him all over.
Yeah.
John Porch. John O'Connor was in town. And it was
he did a
so
show.
Cool to see him.
I love working with John. I know.
So cool
actually,
to see him.
We had him on the show, but it was while he was at the Rogue Island Comedy Festival a couple of years ago. But we need to get him on the show, just on it. That's awesome.
And when John told me he was going to be on the show, I got so excited.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
And you know what?
Guy.
I haven't seen John in 10 years.
Yeah, and he was in New York for a long time.
Matter of fact, remember how I said earlier in the show? A comic said, get as many of those as you can. It was him.
It was him that said, get many.
And he booked me for my first house show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And we talked about that the other night. So after 10 years, it was like we never missed a beat.
Yeah.
And then he says, I said, remember that house show you booked me with? And he says, yeah. He said, it was like 12 people in a living room.
Yeah.
And I mean, literally had like Doritos and that.
Yeah, right.
And I said, you know, that was my first house show.
Yep.
I was scared to death. Now, there would be comics that say, I don't want to do it. Those are the most fun shows you will ever have.
Brad and I got hired to do a show. It was a Christmas party, and Brad will say it. It's still one of his favorite shows ever. We thought it was going to be a shit show. It was this group. It was this family. They have this Christmas party every year where they invite their friends, and every friend can bring a +1. And every year they do some sort of, entertainment, music act, clown, juggler, whatever it is. And so this time they did comics. But they literally, you went in their basement and they had it set up for a show. They had it set up for like 50 people in the basement.
It's
we had such a blast playing to those people. It was so much fun.
Yeah, and they feel the people, and you shit on their house.
Absolutely. And they love it.
And you can't come after them hard enough. They love it. They want more.
They want more. Yep.
And they feel like they're Elvis because they got this private show. They got professional comedians coming in.
Shitting on their house or shitting on their party.
Honored.
Yeah.
Honored by it. Yeah. And they're the best there. What can I get you to eat?
Oh, yeah.
It's like the best shows.
I know.
I'm sorry, the best shows.
I know. I love those shows. Backyard shows, not so much in the pool.
Yeah, because you got the weather, you got kids running around.
Yeah, those aren't as fun. Those aren't as fun. But well, listen, man, I can't believe we're already at an hour and 18 minutes.
What's the wall say? Anything?
Anybody the wall. So a couple of people. When you were talking about needing the extender for the flight, Nick Albanese said the stewardess could wrap you up in duct tape if the belt wasn't big enough. And then buddy Glenn's room said hi drinks. I don't know. I guess he must have been seeing me drink. No other comments on the Facebook page. Well, Josh Barrett said, have a good night, guys. Always good times listening to Mike Murray. Listen, I can't thank you enough for number one, you started out yesterday as being the co-host for when Chris Roach was going to be on. And then I had to let you know today you were going to be the guest. But you know what? This was good because, again, we haven't had an opportunity to just talk to you about you and
Yeah.
your career. And this was a good check-in because there has been a lot of stuff going on with
Yes.
you over the past, couple of years.
And it's
Yeah.
good because we started talking at the beginning of it. Now we're coming out of it.
Yep.
We talked in the beginning about how what we were doing and keep ourselves busy and not go nuts.
And now look
we're
at we've
talking- Now we're
evolved.
getting like excited.
Yeah.
Like, all right, what's the future hold? Now you
Right.
get the comedy park coming into play.
Yep.
You got the documentary coming in play. So good things are happening in Rhode Island. Get
Yeah.
out and support the comedy park. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
I think I just a place to go and
Yeah.
have a drink afterwards.
And for our
like, yeah.
for our listeners who aren't in Rhode Island, if you're in Rhode Island, this is the place to go. The Comedy Park. You're going to
It's
get a great
absolutely
show.
beautiful.
In fact, I know the Park Theater, which is housing the Comedy Park. They're going to be bringing bigger names in. In fact, they got Jim Brewer coming in May.
The very
to
first
do
show
that.
is Jim Brewer,
Yep.
and that's not going to stop. They're going to
No.
bring in these big acts.
Exactly.
It's a 1,000-seat theater,
Yep.
and guess what? That's going to translate to recognition
Yeah.
to the
Absolutely.
park, and it's really, really going to be cool. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah.
Performing at the park was really cool.
Listen, I loved it. I had the benefit of we did the D Strong show for Dorian Murray, raising money for him. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out, well. We lost Dorian a couple of months after, but we had a great fundraiser show there. I got to open for Engelbert Humperdinck there. I got to
Yeah.
open for a couple of people. It's
It's
a
a great
amazing
stage.
stage. Yeah.
But people don't know about theater shows. So,
Yeah.
like a lay person, you can't see anything.
No, you can't
You
see
have to
past the
make
first row.
believe. You got to make believe you could see the audience interact with. I got one good funny park story.
Yeah.
The late Dave DiLorenzo.
Yep.
He booked
Oh, that's
a
right.
big show there, and of course he said there was going to be a ton of walk-ups, and so
A
he booked
1,000-seat theater. How many
Yeah.
people showed up?
and I was coming off the worst show I ever had, and I was really considering not doing comedy anymore. That's how bad it was. It was
Yeah.
at the Broadway Comedy Club in New York, and it was just absolute. But the Tommy Koenig, who's actually
Yeah.
a comedy coach, was there, and he said, "All right, this is what you got to do," because
Yeah.
it was horrible. He said, because there was only 13 people in the audience.
Yeah.
As I was being introduced, I was closing out the show. Nick was on that show too with me.
Yeah.
So 13 people in the audience. As I'm being introduced, like 4 people got up and left. One lady's phone was going off.
Wow.
Then I finally get on stage, and another lady's texting on the phone for like the first 10 minutes of my set.
Yeah.
And then as soon as she was done, now I do just material.
Yeah.
And this was really new and early in my career.
Mm-hmm.
And she finally looked and she goes, "Why are you talking about deaf people?"
In the middle of
And it
your
was
act
like-
after she missed everything
Yeah.
about it. Right.
And I was like, I was rattled.
Yeah.
Totally
Oh, yeah.
rattled.
I can
I
imagine.
barely got through my set. And then Tommy said, "Look, here's the deal. Whether you do crowd work," and I learned from you too. He kind of mentioned, he said, "And you do this all the time in your sets." Because I remember seeing you not long after that. Oh, it was before that.
Mhm.
Like you would say, if it was a small audience, you start a joke. So if you're going to do a joke about being married, anybody else married here? How long you been married? And
Right.
that little engagement makes them
Right.
feel part
Part of the
brings them in a
show.
little bit.
Right.
And
I'm
you're not
still
talking
doing
to them.
I'm still doing my material. I'm just
Exactly.
trying to bring them
And
into
you
the
don't
material.
really want to talk to them.
Right.
Just like and Tommy said, "Look, there was 8 people there.
Right.
They're in back. They're uncomfortable because it's like, all right, it's making
know
your
there
fault
should
that
have
there's
been-
only 8 people here.
Right.
This is embarrassing.
Yeah.
But you are doing something they always wanted. Most people want to be stand-up comedians, but
Yeah.
don't have the balls to do it. In their eyes, you're a rock star,
Right.
and you got to let them know that.
Exactly.
And then he said, but you have to bring them in. You have
Yeah.
to, whether
you have
do
to let
material,
them know
you
that it's
have
not
to-
bothering you, that there's only 8 people, because they're already
Yeah,
self-conscious
you
about
actu-
it.
Yep. And you actually, so you gotta let them know that you're fine with 8 people. That's
Yeah.
exactly what you want, is 8 people. You
Yep.
don't want 9 people.
No.
You want 8 people. And
Yep.
then and they'll be like, all right, it's cool. Now their
He's
guard will come
comfortable.
down.
Yeah.
Fast forward the very next week, Park Theater.
Dave DiLorenzo.
1,000 seats, 50 people. So picture
Yeah.
50 people.
Yeah.
It's like an audition.
Right.
There was
right.
an echo.
Yeah, because they're all spread out too. That's not like they all sit in the first 4 rows.
Now, if I didn't talk
To Tommy Koenig.
I would probably been like a nervous wreck on that
Yeah.
too. And then I've probably been yes for 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
So I go out on stage and I'm like, just like, oh my God, I'm at the Park Theater. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And then I got out of the light and I just looked at the audience and say, anybody have trouble getting tickets?
Yeah, you made a joke about it and it instantly
Exactly.
disarmed everyone.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And so very, very good tips. And we talk about bombing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What do you take from it? Like John Port showed me, what are you gonna
Right.
take from it? What do you take?
What did
And
you
take
learn
all
from
these
it?
little things?
Yeah.
And then guess what? You kind of want it to be like you'll laugh at it. You like it's a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to have fun at it.
Absolutely.
If you
wanna
can
grow.
walk
As long-
exactly.
you've been doing comedy over 30 years.
Yep.
But you still consider yourself growing.
Oh,
Isn't
absolutely.
that weird?
You're always growing because you're always getting in different situations. You never know.
Mhm.
I walked into a Funny for Funds a couple of weeks ago. Scott had booked it for me. And I walked in and he goes, hey, they want a PG show. They want to,
Right out the
really
gate.
clean
And you're
show.
not playing.
No problem. No problem. I go there. I go up to the contact. I said, so they told me you guys want a clean show. They look at me. They go, we've been cooped up for 2 fucking years. We don't want a clean show. I mean, we don't want
Yeah.
a filthy show, but
Yeah.
we want an adult
Yeah.
show. I was like,
Okay.
okay, guess what, guys? Buckle
Yep.
up. You got to change it. You know,
And it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I'm in a really happy place right
that's
now.
awesome.
My wife has a new ring.
Yeah,
I'm a little light in my
She
savings
designed
account.
it. She designed
I'm gonna
it
go
herself.
home and go to sleep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, listen, what can we plug for you? So, first of all, Funny for Funds, obviously, funnyforfunds.com. No matter where you are, go on the website, and there's multiple branches that can take care of you. But as far as the, obviously the other business that you're doing, what's the name of the company? If you want to plug it, or
I'd rather plug. This is my passion.
yeah, no, that's fine.
I
That's
I
fine.
would like to
That's
use
kind of
this
like a
time-
side hustle.
Yeah. Use this time. I mean, Funny for Funds gets a lot of talk, and a lot of people know about
Yeah.
us, what we built. I want to plug the Comedy Park
Yes.
and Bill Simus, and I need everybody to support this. Come out to a show, no matter who's on the lineup.
Yep. You're gonna get a great
You're
show. You're
a
gonna
good
have fun.
And if you are at the Comedy Park, you will be able to buy some swag made by yours truly.
That's right.
I made
Because you did
actually,
all of the
I got
T-shirts
all-
and hats.
Have you seen his shot glasses and his bear glasses?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
maybe
shot glasses back. You should maybe get some here.
get some whiskey glasses.
And so we got hats, we got
Yep.
hoodies, muscle shirts, baseball shirts,
yep.
shot glasses, bear glasses. So it's a really, really good array of stuff that he's giving away to sponsors too. So if
Yep.
you want to sponsor the Comedy Park, he put together a swag package along with tickets. So
That's great.
just know that all that stuff was made by me.
That's awesome. Well, listen, thank you so much for listening, for watching. For those that watched, thanks so much for listening. If you're listening to this, we can't thank you enough. We love doing this. We do have guests coming on. I've been lining up a summer that's going to be amazing. So tell a friend about us. Spread the word. If you enjoy listening to the show, tell a friend. Give us a 5-star written review. It's very simple. Wherever you get your podcasts, go to the review section, give us 5 stars, drop a comment. Love this show. It really, really helps us. It helps us in a way that it helps with the algorithms, so that when someone goes on and they want to find a new podcast and they type in comedy, it helps bring us to the top, and so that they find the show. So coming up next week, we have let's see. Oh, John Moses, a very, very funny comic.
Wow.
Started in
Haven't heard that
Boston.
name in a long time.
Started in
He's
Boston. He
Absolute
just
beast.
he's crazy beast. He's an amazing comic, and he actually just recorded a CD, and
That's
so
gotta be
I
a
told
second-
him,
at least the second one.
and I told him, I said, hey, when you're ready to promote, let me know. And so we got John coming on next week. So a lot of great shows coming up. We've got the folks from the Rogue Island Comedy Festival coming on in the next few months. We've got the guy who started the Nantucket Comedy Festival coming on, Kevin Flynn. So a lot
Kevin
of
Flynn is awesome.
yeah, lot of great.
He's got a
guests
great
coming
story.
Up. Yeah,
Ask him about his father. He's got a one-man show that he does.
really.
And yeah, me and him had a really good, talk about,
Yeah.
our fathers.
You know what's funny? When I reached out to him yesterday, he said, "Yeah, I definitely would love to come on." I've been doing comedy 33 years. He's probably been doing it just as long or even the longer. We never have worked together.
Huh.
You know, sometimes you've worked with people a million
Yeah.
times, and then other times you've never worked with
I've
someone
had him on a couple
all in the
shows.
same
He's-
areas. Yeah.
he's a rock star.
Yeah.
And he
Well, him and Jackie Flynn, who we've had Jackie Flynn on before.
They
Jackie,
related?
no. In fact, they do shows called Brothers from Another Mother because they're both last name Flynn.
Yeah.
But Jackie had told us about Kevin and
he's
so
just a great guy.
yeah.
And he's one of the good guys. He's one of the
That's
good guys, and he'll sit
immediately.
there and he'll talk to you, and he'll talk and on the level,
yeah.
not down to you, and it's just really, really cool. He's got a great story, so I can't wait to watch that episode because he's got a great story, and he does a one-man show, and it's all about his father.
His father. Well, we can't wait for that. And again, folks, if you are listening outside of the New England area and there are comics that you like from your area, drop us an email, drop us a message on the Facebook, our Facebook page on Behind the Funny, and let us know if there's someone that you want to be on the show. We'll definitely reach out to them. We love learning about new people. I mean, Chris Roach, who will be on in May, who was supposed to be on tonight. He's a Long Island guy that, our friend Rich Walker, who was on a couple of months ago, brought him up. And then Scott worked with him and he said, yeah, we got to get this guy on. So,
Fantastic.
So listen, folks, again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. And other than that, we will talk to you next week.